The disease and I are now one. The Demon Disorder is a Shudder original from Australia, somewhere in Australia, not exactly sure where, but it seems like a desolate area where this particular film takes place. It was written and directed by Stephen Boyle and written by Toby Osborne. Check out the respective IMDb pages for the full listings of their work. Stephen Boyle apparently has done a lot of makeup effects for some film projects, and you can tell with the body horror effects that follow in this particular flick. So, this follows three brothers. We have Graham, Philip, and Jake. Three brothers that basically have a bit of a conflict among them. I mean, one decided to leave the nest, so to speak. They're dealing with the recent events of their deceased father and the fact that the family farm and just the entire land is really not doing all that well. There's some crazy shit going on. There's a dark secret that they must confront and must solve this mystery before all their lives are history. The Demon Disorder Tales. Woohoo! Yeah, I had to work that in. So from there, we basically have a film that has a little bit of an allegory for, like, you know, how a parent may pass on, how a parent may deteriorate as far as dementia or far as physical well-being, and how people would be able to handle that, blood relatives or otherwise. And also the fact that these brothers, you know, one just wanted to do something else. Graham wanted to do something else. And Philip and Jake were kind of left to pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces. That's something that's carried on a little bit later in the film. And also there is a co-worker of Graham's named Cole, played by Toby Webster. And yeah, we just get kind of a simplistic story with some neat body horror effects. And that's where the strength of the movie lies. The acting isn't all that bad, I do want to say, and usually when Shudder Original is attached to a particular film, sure, okay, I'll click on. I don't watch every single one, but Shudder is a great streaming service, and I decided to check it out. And you know what? Good body horror effects. In fact, that's really, again, where the strength of this movie lies. There are some terrific ones, especially in the third act when things kick in. It's obviously a low-budget effort, considering it takes place in like two fucking locations and outside both those locations. But you know what? It's all right. It's not great. It's all right. Philip, played by Charles Cotier. I hope I said that right. Jake, played by Dirk Hunter, that I originally read as Dick Hunter and was trying not to laugh uncontrollably. You have Graham Riley, Christian Willis, and then you also have the dad, John Noble. I've seen the dad and stuff, I swear. Maybe he just looks like somebody that I've seen before. We get some flashbacks, we get a little bit of the story, and also the fact that the dad, you know, for whatever reason, there maybe some weird shit's been going on. There's talk of a blood oath. There's talk of, like, you know, maybe stuff to keep the farm going well, and maybe a deal with a dark entity was made. Or maybe it's just truly, you know, bad stuff among the family and physical well-being deteriorating, manifesting as a way for them to just deal with all this grief. I mean, there's a couple things that are left open to interpretation, but there is this talk of demonic possession and other stuff going on. And again, good body horror creature effects, so really that's all there is to say. I'm going to get into spoilers, which really won't take very long. It's a fine movie. It's not great. It's certainly not awful, though. The makeup and creature effects carry it, and the acting does what it does. It is also a brief, like, 80 minutes, so you won't feel like it's overstaying its welcome, even if the story at times feels a little bit stretched out to cover said 80 minutes. So, that's it. Let's just get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, there we go. So right off the bat, we see a cow getting killed, a deformed cow. Boom. Within the first few minutes, all right. Neither brother looks particularly healthy, especially Jake. Graham has his own mechanic shop. Cole is his assistant or co-worker, as it were. And yeah, there's talk about blood oath. There's talk about, we have to do this for Dad. You shouldn't have left, Graham. No, not the movie You Shouldn't Have Left. That was absolute dog shit. Dad wasn't doing all that well. They had him chained up at some points because he was attacking people. Philip is even more off. He has an infection, like he has something in his armpit, like something's really going on. But it's just an allergy, except it's not an allergy. And Then we see dead chickens everywhere. That was the original title of that Korn song. You're welcome. Best you didn't expect a Korn reference here. And Philip is basically just going absolutely batshit insane because whatever this is attacking them. And then he had a little bit of a creature thing, and he ended up biting Graham at one point. That factors in a little bit later. He had a creature in him that crawled up on the goddamn ceiling like it was Lionel Richie. They capture it, put it in a little cake tin, which was kind of hilarious, and it looked like a weird tongue thing, but then it ended up getting freed by Philip because Philip is betrothed or beholden to this thing, not betrothed to this thing. Every character is kind of stupid, as I've noted, because they make monumentally dumb decisions. This is more of a throwback to like 70s, 80s body horror in a sense, and it does have that nice isolation feel because cops do show up eventually. One of the cops, Amy Ingram, is, she plays Officer Pierce. She arrives with one other cop whose name I did not write down. I do apologize if anybody from this movie is watching. And Graham's bite is getting worse. All this stuff's going on. We get these flashbacks. They are trying to basically help out Graham because he's got this bite right here. But meanwhile, Philip is not doing too good either. Cole ends up at the mechanic shop. She gets high, and Aussie Christine, as I noted. I don't know what the song was. I could have swore it was Emily Autumn, but I don't think she's making music anymore. And anybody that gets that, you really know your music. I'm not sure if you know good music, but she certainly made music. So Philip is getting super sick, not doing well. There's flying hubcaps at one point because this entity, whatever it is doing some shit. And then they end up chaining Philip down. They're going to take care of him. They chain him down to make a crucifix out of a goddamn, one of the car lift deals. And then they're sitting in the car deciding what they're going to do. Well, meanwhile, Cole, who is still there, locked in the office, didn't get to use her cell phone or contact them, quick enough. So she ends up using a landline, and that ends up getting left off the hook just so the cops would end up arriving, which they do, and then they're eventually let in. It gets out of Philip through that infected part in his armpit, whatever it is. It's like a manifestation of whatever Dad made a deal with, or something to that effect. And then, we get more flashbacks. Basically, the dad said, you're going to end up needing to kill me. So I need all three of you to do this when the time comes. We see a scene of that a little bit earlier where it looks like they're killing the dad when he was attacking one of them because he needed to make it seem like it was him doing that and they were defending themselves because he knows his mind is slipping, and whatever this is, it is something that is going to take over him eventually. So then they end up this thing gets, it kills the one cop whose name I did not write down. Oh, so racist as usual. The black cop dies first. And then they end up basically Graham does what Jake couldn't do. He pulled the trigger and killed this creature. But the thing is, his bite's getting worse. He's got a creature in him. He's going to shoot himself. But then they stop him, and then they get him. They cut the creature out of him, and it's like a weird squid thing. And then Jake shoots him, says, "How do you like that, Squiddy?" And then more police are arriving, evidently. Officer Pierce, I think, got knocked out. She got knocked out or killed. There was some weird editing going on here. And then they decide to drive off. They're just driving off. Driving off with what money? With what means? I don't know. They're just driving off. Good body horror effects. Everything else is kind of C+. It gets a C+. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.